You're listening to an Airwave Media podcast.
This episode is brought to you by Nerds Gummy Clusters, the sweet treat that always elevates the vibe. With a sweet gummy surrounded with tangy, crunchy nerds, every bite of Nerds Gummy Clusters brings you a whole new world of flavor. Whether it's game night, on the way to a concert, or kicking back with your crew, unleash your senses with Nerds Gummy Clusters.
Auto insurance can all seem the same until it comes time to use it. So don't get stuck paying more for less coverage. Switch to USAA Auto Insurance and you could start saving money in no time. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
USAA. Recorded in Chicago, Illinois with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neil, and Jeff. This is Triviality.
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Neil and I'm here with Jeff. This is a special bonus episode all about, Jeff?
The Sopranos.
The Sopranos. Now, I haven't had the pleasure of seeing all the episodes, so I'm not really an expert in it. Jeff, you've seen the show several times, I think?
At least every episode at least once.
Okay, and you are wearing one of Drea Di Matteo's outfits today. I appreciate that.
Look, I look good in a good cheetah print.
But yeah, thank you for doing that. But we're just here to have fun. Jeff's going to be color commentary. I'm going to keep score. We have a great stable of guests here and a guest host. So I'm going to start with the host. We consider him sort of one of our OG Triviality listeners. He literally ran a marathon for us to meet us, which is what we're going to say happened. But we're so excited to have him here. Phil Sanford. How are you, Phil?
Doing pretty good, Neil. How's everything going with you guys? We're
doing great. We know that you've been talking to us about doing a Sopranos bonus for a long time, and we're so happy that you're here. But tell people at home a little bit about yourself and what got you into the Sopranos.
Yeah, so I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I've lived here for, 16 years now, which is incredible to think about that I've been here for so long. But in terms of how I got into the show, I grew up in Ohio and started college in 2001 at Seton Hall University, which is smack dab in the middle of Sopranos world. And I think this show is in its third season, and I had HBO for the first time at my dorm. And so I started watching, just kind of jumping into it without knowing anything about the very pivotal first two seasons, and just enjoyed the show. And during my freshman year, my parents also got an offer from their cable company to give a free year of HBO or something like that. So then when I went home summer break between freshman sophomore years, I got caught up on the show, and I've just been addicted ever since. I watch it. I joke around with my wife. It's like kind of like my comfort show. Like if I'm bored and just want to watch something, I'll just open the HBO Max app on our TV and just start watching.
I love that, and we thank you so much for writing this game, and it's all made possible by our patrons. It's the reason we have all these bonus episodes on our main feed, so if you'd like to join all of our patrons, you can go to patreon.com/trivialitypodcast, and I want to introduce all the competitors, and I'm going to go in order of the randomized order that we got before we started playing. So we're going to start with our friend Dave, coming to us from New York. How are you, Dave?
Doing okay. Are you guys?
Doing great. Just for the people at home, maybe remind us what you're doing.
Sure. I'm a lawyer here in New York, where I spend most of my time avoiding rats and other lawyers. I live in Brooklyn, currently in a temporary apartment. Looking forward to moving back into our home in about a month. I started watching The Sopranos with episode 1 of season 2, having read about it in the New York Times the weekend before. Then watched the whole series, and then went back and watched season 1 on DVD back in 1894 or whatever it was, and then just rewatched the series last January through March or something like that. So I'm probably going to get most of these things wrong, but I won't have any excuse for it.
No, and it sounds like you've been watching for a long time, and we're happy to have you here as always. It's always good to see you. And are you still doing trivia out in New York?
I have passed that game on to the next curator. Although I do go back and fill in from him from time to time at the Sackett Bar in Park Slope in Brooklyn.
Oh, nice. And we're going to introduce our next guest. Always love having her on the show, coming to us from California. Jenn, how are you, Jenn?
Doing good. How are you guys?
Doing great. And I believe you just finished the whole series for the first time. Is that right?
It's true. I just started Sopranos this year for the first time, like ever, and was immediately sucked in by the pilot and just consumed it all within a crazy amount of time.
That's great. And anything you'd like to tell about yourself before we get started today?
I've been on the show a couple times before. It's always fun. I'm a crime analyst here in Orange County, California. And yeah, I'm really excited about the Sopranos themed game because it's all fresh in my head, but I don't know how advanced these questions are going to be. So I'm just excited.
I was going to say, so we have a real life crime analyst who's going to be playing the Sopranos game. We don't know if any of us are, I guess, organized, but we'll have to find that out. Thanks, Jenn, for joining us. And our last guest here, so excited to introduce. I talk to him all the time about movies, and I'll let you explain it. But we have Mike here. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, my name is Mike. Like Neil said, I guess we're just buds, and we talk about movies all the time, like he said.
And you love The Sopranos. I know you said you watch it before you go to bed.
That's true. In fact, I don't really know how many times I've watched all of the seasons, but I would say at least like 20 times. Since 2006, since the end of it, I've been watching The Sopranos. And when I moved to Chicago, I watched only The Sopranos for like 9 months.
So you were like, inundated with it. You're like in it.
Yeah, so hopefully I remember some things about it.
Yeah, and this is Mike's first time, I think, being on like a trivia podcast, right? So
yeah.
Awesome. We're happy to have you, and you're always welcome. But those are our competitors today. So we got Dave, Mike, and Jenn. And Phil, you are the hosts. Like I said, Jeff's going to be color commentary. I'm going to keep score. But I know you had an icebreaker, so I'm going to throw it to you and let all these folks have fun.
Yeah, and before we get started, I just wanted to say that you could probably do a 30-question quiz on like each season. So I tried to pick a good variety of questions, and each of the rounds, each of the 10, I call them rounds, but just like 10 question sets each. They have like all three of the questions will have like a loose theme or very direct theme to them. And I try to mix up the difficulty among the three seats here. The main icebreaker I want to have is just from the three contestants, just to what your favorite episode is and why.
Well, let's start with Dave.
I think it would have to be the pilot episode because so much of what Tony's psyche is laid out in the first 90 seconds of that show, and he's one of the most fascinating characters, I think, in all of fiction. So I'd go with the pilot.
How about you, Mike?
It's kind of dark, but probably University, just because, I could talk about that episode for a really long time, but the dynamics between the young stripper and Meadow Soprano and like the back and forth about that, I don't know. It's just really sad, and that actor is really good too, like to be with those amazing actors for her first time. Just classic episode.
And Jenn, you just finished the whole series for the first time, so it's probably really, really fresh. So what's your pick?
Well, it's got to be the Pine Barrens. Polly's got some great lines, and just visually that episode is great, and the content of the episode is great. I'll probably rewatch that episode.
And how about you, Phil?
Both Mike and Jenn both named two of my probably top fives. I'll go. Other than those two, I'd say Whitecaps is just a very, very good episode. Very kind of pivotal to like the everything kind of falling on Tony in an unexpected way, or unexpected to him way. Expected for the audience expects things to crash down on him eventually, but he doesn't see it coming, and then it really changes like the whole rest of the series from that point forward.
Sounds like some episodes got to put on my watch list to rewatch. But Phil, you have the questions, you have the game, so let's just hang out and play.
Yep, and for the listening audience, if you have not seen the show and do not want to have spoilers, then I do say download it so that our Triviality friends can get their numbers here, but don't listen any further because this episode is just loaded with spoilers left and right.
That'd be kind of fun, though, if it was a spoiler-free Sopranos episode and you're just beating around the bush. But yeah.
It'd be very generic.
Very generic.
All right, Dave. The opening credits of the show are set to the song Woke Up This Morning, playing in the background. The name of the British band performing the song consists of a U.S. state name and a number. What is the band's name?
The band's name, I'm pretty sure, is Alabama 3.
Alabama 3 is correct. Next question here to Mike. Tony starts the opening credits scene driving inside what famous structure that connects New York City and New Jersey?
The Lincoln Tunnel.
That is correct. It is Lincoln Tunnel. All right, Jen, and your question is, a frame showing what in Tony's rearview mirror was removed from the opening credits starting with the season 4 premiere?
I would just guess maybe the World Trade Center.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
World Trade Center was removed in 2002 from The Sopranos and from Sex and the City. Both of their intro scenes due to the attack. All right, just rolling on through here. So 3 for 3 so far. So the second question, everybody, we're going to start again with Dave. The next 3 questions will be about an important theme during the show: education. Tony spent a semester and a half at what New Jersey university?
I don't know the answer to this, but seeing as how he's halfway smart, I would guess Rutgers.
Rutgers is incorrect, and this is also a little bit of know your host. I mentioned this earlier. This is Seton Hall University.
I thought it was Rutgers too. I was like sure of it.
He's mentioned he mentions a few times throughout the throughout different episodes that he spent a semester and a half at Seton Hall. And actually, my current Twitter or X or whatever, well, in our house we call it Twitter profile. In my profile, that my background picture is like a screen grab of Tony saying, I spent a semester and a half at Seton Hall.
Mandela effect. That's what I think that is.
Apologies for insulting Seton Hall ever so slightly.
But what's funny is, Seton Hall's a tiny, tiny little Catholic school, but smack dab, like all the places that are mentioned in the show are all right around campus there.
I think James Gandolfini did go to Rutgers, though. I could be wrong, but I think that's what I'm
yes.
about.
I'm going to look that up. Yeah, that's a good fact.
All right, next one here for Mike. Meadow went to Columbia University, but what school did her best friend Hunter get early acceptance into?
Oh.
Just like Hunter in the universe of The Sopranos, in real life, Steve Jobs also attended and dropped out of this Oregon school.
I really don't know this one. Because I would have said like Harvard or something. So yeah, what do you do if you don't know?
You can just tap. You can just tap if you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were right though. James Gandolfini did go to Rutgers. So
so I'll take that.
Yeah,
one.
you'll take that brownie point.
The actual question, I guess I'll just have to say I don't know it.
All right, and I think Dave, do you know this? I saw you react a little bit to it.
I mean, I would guess it's Reed College, just because you said
Yep, Reed College is correct.
I don't know colleges.
Yeah, I've never even heard of Reed College. Yeah,
I never went. I don't know them.
My boss dropped out of Reed College.
Was your boss Steve Jobs?
No, nor Hunter or whatever our last name.
Scangarelli. I knew that. Did I ruin the question? Yep. I'm sorry.
No, you did not ruin the question. Although I do have flavor text on this question. Hunter is played by Michelle DeCesare, whose one and only acting credit is Hunter. And do you know why she was on The Sopranos?
Yeah. Does any?
What do we win?
Oh yeah, it's David Chase's daughter.
Yeah, correct.
Nice.
It's David Chase's daughter.
Nice.
All right, Jen, let's see if you can pick up points here. Name any of the 3 ways AJ was suspended or expelled from high school during episodes of the show.
Any of the 3 ways he was expelled?
Or suspended, yep.
I do remember a episode where him and his friends are like throwing teachers' desks and stuff into the pool and like trashing a trophy. What am I trying to say? Holder, a trophy shelf case. Yeah. So I would say that is grounds for expulsion.
Yep,
Okay.
that is that's one of the three ways. It was vandalizing the swimming pool. Anybody
How do
want
you
to take a
vandalize
guess?
a swimming pool? That's what he said.
Anybody want to take a so points for Jen there? But anybody want to take a guess at the other two ways?
Yeah, he was drinking alcohol in season 1. I'm pretty sure.
Yep, communion wine.
Communion wine. That's funny.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the other way was
cheating on a
he and one
test.
was yep
Right.
they stole tests, and that's when the principal said that they had got their DNA because he peed on the wall of the janitor's club.
Oh, also a weird thing about that pool scene with the trophy case. Lady Gaga's in that scene. She's uncredited.
no way.
Yeah.
Yes, she is. Yep. Before they were stars. Yep. Lady Gaga was in the scene.
Stephanie Germanotta.
They got her DNA because she peed on the wall.
All right. So Dave, there are two actors who were referred to in the show and later played recurring characters in the show. Name either of these two actors or the characters that they eventually played.
I don't know this, but I do know that there's one point at which Annette Bening turns up, so I'm going to guess Annette Bening.
That's incorrect. Anybody have any guesses at this?
I mean, like Steve Buscemi, but I don't remember them ever mentioning him. I just can't think of it.
I have a guess.
Okay.
Is it Jon Favreau?
No, because he plays himself.
Oh,
And-
okay.
Oh, I misunderstood the question twice then, I think.
So the two answers are Tim Daly and Frankie Valli.
Oh,
Tim Daly.
God, Frankie
okay.
Valli.
No.
That's such an obvious one.
So Frankie Valli's mentioned a few times, including in the episode Christopher, where Tony tells Silvio that he has to book Frankie Valli for a show after he messes up all the Christopher Columbus protest situation, but then Frankie Valli eventually comes back to play Rusty, part of the New York crew, and then Tim Daly, Meadow's boyfriend Noah, his dad talks about how he's Tim Daly's agent. Then Tim Daly comes back and plays like very grimy and stereotypical to make fun of TV writer J.T. Dolan.
I saw Tim
You
Daly
think
on
he's grimy? I don't know. I don't know if that's a fair assessment of that character. I don't know.
All right, so moving on. So for Mike, what actress referenced in both We Didn't Start the Fire and Vogue is mugged by Christopher at the end of the episode Luxury Lounge? In this episode, Ben Kingsley rejects the offer to play the lead in Cleaver and happily greets this legendary actress by her real name.
Her name is Lauren Bacall.
That's correct. And it's a very funny scene. It's a very vulgar scene when she gets mugged. Her response to getting mugged is very, very funny. I'm not sure if it's appropriate for the Sopranos.
Wait, are we allowed to
Airways
swear?
here.
Yeah, he'll
Oh
bleep
yeah.
it.
So because she's
Oh,
like,
okay.
my arm, right?
Yeah.
That's what
Yes.
that's how she sounds.
All right, and for Jen, speaking of Cleaver, who does end up playing the lead role? First and last name are required. According to Christopher, this actor, quote, took Ben Kingsley's ass to acting school.
Okay, yes, I do remember Ben Kingsley, and I do remember it was not him. Oh my gosh, I think it's the guy from Biodome. I forget his first name. Okay, let me guess. Stephen Baldwin?
You're close with the last name. That's why I said first and last name required. It's Daniel Baldwin.
Oh.
Yeah. But one of the things I do like in the Cleaver premiere scene is after the premiere is shown, Daniel gets introduced to Tony Soprano, and he asks Tony Soprano to fix a speeding ticket on either the Parkway or the Turnpike for him, which is just like, yeah, I mean, of course, just staying in character with the with a New Jersey mob boss giving him a traffic ticket. All right, so Dave, your next question. The New York and New Jersey families were partners on various projects involving State Assemblyman Ron Zellman, the biggest of which was the Esplanade in Newark. What was the name of the nonsensical museum that was going to be the primary attraction of this massive construction project?
Oh, dear. I mean, I'll just say something like Museum of Italian American Culture.
That would have been more sensical, made more sense than what it actually was. Jenn or Mike, do you want to take a guess at the?
Again, it's too smart sounding. I won't know it. It's just like the college one.
It was the Museum of Science and Trucking.
Oh, that's good.
And they talk about the Museum of Science Trucking, like, and it just, whenever it pops up, I just laugh because it's like, what would it even be? I have no idea what would even be in the Museum of Science and Trucking.
A lot of wheel technology, I imagine.
The baffles inside, like
brake
fuel.
pad analysis. Fuel efficiency.
All right, Mike. All right, Mike. Your question. After Carmine Lupertazzi dies, Uncle Junior said that Carmine invented what type of match fixing in sports in 1951? In real life, this is how Henry Hill from Goodfellas made a name for himself in the mob.
Point shaving.
Correct, point shaving. Henry Hill was instrumental in the Boston College point shaving scandal in the late 70s. And yeah, if you read about that, you see like different plot points of Goodfellas just in like the Wikipedia article of the point shaving scandal for Boston College. But yeah, Uncle Junior said that Carmine was behind the CCNY point shaving scandal and invented it on the show. All right, Jenn. In the case in a case of real life impacting the show, an actual mafia member told James Gandolfini about an error he made with how Tony dressed in a casual setting on the show. This fashion faux pas was delivered by Carmine to Tony in the show in a season 4 conversation. What does a Don never wear?
Oh boy, what does a Don never wear that Tony wears? I don't know. I'm trying to think of what Tony wears in all these episodes, and I'm like, is it jewelry based? Is it like a pinky ring? Is it like socks with loafers? I don't know.
No, that's permissible.
I know. I'm thinking of that. I'm like, that sounds pretty legit. I guess a polo shirt. I don't know.
Can I ring in here, Phil? This
Yes,
is the
you
reason
can.
I can't be in the mob. It's because Tony can't wear shorts.
Yep.
Oh.
A Don never wears shorts.
I can't even picture him in shorts now, but
It was only, I think, in either 1 or 2 episodes in season 1, and then as the legend goes, there was a mysterious anonymous phone call to James Gandolfini, and then they discussed it on the show, and they're like, okay, how do we correct this on the show? And they had, because Carmine's always kind of critiquing Tony and always kind of belittling him, and he used that opportunity to so they used that as an opportunity for Carmine to belittle him again. All right, so the last question in the first round here goes to Dave. Tony frequently refers to life being better in the past by referencing what actor? Tony calls this actor the, quote, strong and silent type.
My first thought was John Wayne, because I can imagine our president-elect saying something like that. But now that I think about it, I think it is Gary Cooper.
Yep, Gary Cooper is correct.
Come on, I just got to do the impression, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, whatever happened to Gary Cooper? That's it. I know, I'm not very good, but...
I was expecting a Gary Cooper impression.
I actually have no idea what he sounded like.
I don't either, actually. Off the top of my head, at least.
Well, I mean, Lou Gehrig and probably the Yankee. I mean,
that's true.
But that's not. I mean, he's playing Luke. He's trying to sound like Lou Gehrig.
Someone does a good impression of him with the echoing of the stadium too. Or what's the line? Dave probably knows it. What's the famous line that Lou Gehrig said at the speech on the field?
Oh, today I consider myself luckiest man on
That's
the
right.
face of the earth.
Yeah, someone went today, I consider myself. Yeah, so I saw someone do that impression, which I thought was good. So anyway,
That is pretty good.
thank you.
That's the kind of sound effects that your Patreon dollars are buying.
That's right.
All right, Mike, your question here, the last one of the first round. What classic James Cagney film is referenced a few times in the show and is the movie Tony is watching at the end of the episode in which his mother died? A pioneering rap group has a similar name to this movie.
I'm sorry, I just got to pass.
All right, and I see Dave. Dave, do you got that?
Yeah, it's The Public Enemy.
God,
Oh,
I knew
the
that
Public
one.
Enemy.
It's a great episode.
That's correct. Mm-hmm. All right, and Jen, your last question of this round. What TV show is Uncle Junior watching when he says that he sees himself and Bobby on the screen? This is a very meta moment since Uncle Junior would have been watching HBO at the time.
It was Curb Your Enthusiasm.
That is correct. Uncle Junior thinks that he's Larry David, and he thinks that Bobby is Jeff in the scene that they're watching. And one of his friends is like, he's like, no, Corrado, it's a TV program. And the back and forth is just great. I mean, anytime Uncle Junior is the funny. I agree with what Pete Davidson said a couple years ago in an interview. Uncle Junior is like the funniest person on the show. Like, there's no comparison to, in my opinion.
Funnier than
great.
Paulie, though? I don't know.
I think so, because like Paulie's like very like in your face humor, whereas Uncle Junior's humor is like it's very subtle. Like when he makes jokes or when he makes fun of somebody, because he's also angry all the time, and so I do enjoy like kind of like angry person humor more than just like kind of slapstick in your face stuff.
Fair enough, but like all of Paulie's stuff was just written because that guy was that guy. So that is pretty funny.
It's a good compliment. After the first round, looks like Dave's got 2 points. Mike and Jen tied with 3. So you have a swing round, Phil. What's the swing round?
So the swing round is I have titled "Who Whacked Whom." I will give you 10 victims of murder, and it's gonna be simple. Just give me who killed these 10 people. And the only items, the only things I want to just clarify here is that we are looking for people who it's going to be clear that there was clearly like a specific person who killed them, not like I know later, like in the last season, a couple people in the New York crew got like gunned down by like 5 people or something, where you just don't know exactly who killed them. But so it's like you're gonna have a clear victim and clear perpetrator, and it's people only. So
Feel good about this.
Yeah. So R.I.P. Pi Mai and Cosette, but they are not included in this round.
All right, Phil, give us the list of victims for the competitors to check out.
Okay, the list is Emile Kolar, Richie April, Jackie April Jr., Salvatore, a.k.a. Mustang Sally, Jimmy, a.k.a. the Elvis impersonator, Fabian Febby Petrillo, a.k.a. Fred Peters, Adriana Lacerva, Tracy, Min Matrone, and Phil Leotardo.
Okay, we'll give the competitors just a few minutes to look at these victims, and you'll probably hear some ads from some other people, but just from us, just wanted to let you know that all these episodes are made possible by Patreon. So if you'd like to join Patreon and get rid of ads like these and all the ads that you hear, you can go to patreon.com/trivialitypodcast for as little as $1 a month, and for as little as $5 a month, get a bunch of extra bonus episodes on top of these, and we'd very much appreciate you joining the cause. So
yeah, we're not going to shake you down.
We're not going to shake you down, right?
For your money, but
that's true.
We
make a clean living here.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely check us out at patreon.com/trivialitypodcast, and we'll be back after these ads. All the competitors have locked in their lists, so we're going to go to Phil. He'll read off the name of the victim, and then each competitor in our Dave, Mike, Jen order will tell us who killed him.
Okay, so we're going to start off with the first person who was whacked on the show, Emil Kolar.
All right, Dave?
I put Christopher.
Mike?
I also put Chrissy.
And Jen?
I put Christopher as well.
All right, all three are correct. It is Christopher. Richie April. Who whacked Richie?
Dave?
I put Janice.
Mike?
I also put Janice.
And Jen?
And I put Janice.
One of the most shocking scenes on the show that came out of nowhere was when Janice shot Richie to death at the kitchen table. Jackie April Jr.
I think this was Vito.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it is Vito.
Okay.
I put Vito as well.
All right. Everybody's correct once again. Salvatore, a.k.a. Mustang Sally.
There were a few here that I didn't recognize, and I know Furio killed a bunch of folks, so I put Furio down for all of these, and this is the first one I put Furio for.
All right, Mike, who do you got killing Mustang Sally?
Old man Bacala.
And Jen?
I put Big Pussy.
So the correct answer, we have one correct answer here. It is Mike. It is Bobby Bacala Sr. It's Burt Young with a phenomenal... It's probably my favorite cameo of the whole show.
So
is
good.
Burt Young. It's so good. It's when he has lung cancer, and it's just a brilliant acting job by Burt Young. Rest in peace, Burt Young. Jimmy, a.k.a. the Elvis impersonator.
I also could not remember who this was, and also put Furio here.
And Mike?
Big Pussy.
And Jen?
I did not remember this at all. Like, I don't remember this episode, so you guys will have to let me know. But I just put Paulie because it seemed like something maybe he'd do. I don't know.
Once again, we got one correct answer. It is Big Pussy. Jimmy, the Elvis impersonator, spots Big Pussy with his FBI agent at a party store, and so then Big Pussy, and again, like some of these death scenes are like comical in the way that it's like almost cartoonish how they're done. So then Big Pussy goes to Jimmy's house and beats him to death with a hammer. So,
that is hilarious.
Yeah. All right, Fabian Febi Petrulio, a.k.a. Fred Peters.
I wasn't 100% sure about this. I thought this might be the guy that Tony kills on the episode where he takes Meadow on college tours, but I put Tony.
Yeah, same thought. I couldn't remember, but I'm like 90% sure that that's the guy, and Tony is the dude who killed him.
Yeah, I put Tony B. Not Tony Soprano. I thought maybe this was Phil's nephew or cousin or something like that.
So we have two correct answers. It is Tony Soprano, and it is in that episode College in the first season. That was just like kind of transformed the direction of the show. And I don't know if you guys if you've seen the show Wise Guy about David Chase that just came out. It's really, really good if you have not seen it. But in that, there's a really funny exchange where David Chase is talking about having Tony kill the rat Febby, and how HBO wanted him to take it out. And it's a really funny hearing the different people who were part of that whole the whole decision being interviewed, and how it ultimately was left in the show, even though the HBO executives wanted it to be taken out because they thought it was too dark if a main character literally kills somebody with his bare hands early on in the series. All right, next person, Adriana Lacerva.
This is Silvio Dante.
I agree, it's Sil.
Yeah, I put Silvio as well.
And all three are correct in what the one of the fans' like least favorite whackings was when Adriana met her maker. All right, next one is Tracy.
I think this might be my least favorite killing in the whole show. This is when Tracy gets killed by Ralph Cifaretto.
Yeah, it's from my favorite episode because I'm sick. But yeah, Ralph did it.
I remember the episode. I remember her, I think she was like even like in a bath towel or something like that, like getting out of the shower. But I don't remember who killed her, so I just wrote Phil.
All right, and the answer is Ralph Cifaretto, and I'm right there with you, Dave. In my opinion, this is like the most brutal of the murders in the show.
People did not like it.
Yeah,
people were upset.
I love the episode. I love the episode. It's just such a dark episode, and then the actual killing is really, really dark.
Yeah. Well, it's like David Chase said that he was sick of people like thinking that everyone was super cool.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, they're all pieces. Here you go."
All right, next one is Min Matrone.
I can't say I have any idea who that is, so I just put Furio again.
It's one of the best killings, I think. If I am correct, it's Paulie.
I put Furio as well. I thought maybe this was the guy who got mistaken identitied for somebody else.
And once again, we have one correct answer here, and it is Paulie. This is the old women who one of the two old women who are mean to his mom, and then he's coming up short, and he overhears her saying that she keeps all her money under the mattress, and so he's coming up short in his envelopes to Tony, so he goes to rob her, and she walks in on him robbing her. And it is another kind of cartoonish, comical killing, and he smothers her with a pillow.
I remember now.
It's good stuff.
And I think yeah. All right, and then the last official whacking on the show, Phil Leotardo.
I put Wheel of SUV.
That's fair. So I know the guy. The actor, he was in the last season, and there's a scene where he's saying his name, and I can see the scene, but it's like he's named after someone. I just put Alden. But I don't know. I just put Alden.
Yeah, I picture the scene. He's talking to his wife, like outside of the vehicle at a gas station, and then a hand extends and shoots him. I think, right?
Right.
And I wrote Christopher. I don't know.
All right, so no points here, but Mike, you were insanely close, Mike. His name is Walden.
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 Oh man, that was close.
Point for that one. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Unless
Walden. And the scene you're talking about is, I think, either earlier in that episode or the episode before. Somebody's like, "What kind of an Italian names their kid Walden?" And then he says, "Oh, I'm named after the great Bobby Darin,"
right.
Which is Bobby Darin's real name is Walden. So
God, W I'm missing.
After the swing round, it looks like Dave's picking up 6 points, bringing his total to 8. Mike's picking up 9 points, bringing his total to 12. And Jen is picking up 4 points, bringing her total to 7.
Okay, round 2. We're going to start out. Dave, here. Here's your question. Charles S. Dutton had a memorable cameo in Another Toothpick as a police officer pulls over and tickets a very angry Tony Soprano. Tony later runs into him at what roadside store where Dutton's character is working part-time. This store, which went out of business in 2009, inspired the name of a rock band in the 90s and 2000s.
Well, I'm sure it did. I remember the episode. I remember the scene of him getting pulled over with Carmela in the car. I remember him not getting out of the ticket. I remember him running into Charles S. Dutton later on. But I'll be damned if I can remember what the store was. I'm going to say Staples.
That's incorrect. Does anybody else have a guess at this?
I do.
No.
It's Fountains of Wayne.
Fountains of Wayne is
it is,
correct.
yeah.
That's the name of us. So that's a store, like a convenience store.
Apparently, it's
No,
a famous it's a famous garden place or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
It is yep, and I mean it's no longer. It's been torn down a long time ago. But they shortly after it closed, they tore it down. But yeah, it was a store that it was on next to a busy highway, and it had just like all these gaudy fountains in front of it, and yeah, you could like turn in and like buy a fountain there. But yeah, it's yeah, and the band and the bands got their inspiration from the name of that store. That if you're driving around New Jersey, you couldn't really miss it in that area.
So sad
By
I
the way-
can't own a Fountain of Wayne.
By the way, if you're in Wayne, New Jersey, those fountains are not gaudy.
All right, Mike, your question for this round. Known best for his groundbreaking celebrity gossip blog, who makes a cameo as the ticket taker being robbed at a Jewel concert at Rutgers? He informs Christopher and Benny that most of the students use their IDs to enter and there isn't a lot of money there. Christopher and Benny rob him anyway and shoot at a security guard on the way out.
So, I wish I didn't know this because, like, it's like what a weird thing to know about that guy. But it's Perez Hilton.
Correct. Perez Hilton was the ticket taker. And then finally,
What a weird cameo.
Yeah, it is.
it was. All right, Jen, and your question for this round. Best known for creating a Broadway show about a man being shot to death in New Jersey, who plays a bellhop at a Virginia hotel in the final season episode Remember When? His character is seen as dumb and aloof, which is in stark contrast to this man's intelligence in real life.
I don't know.
All right, are you going to tap on this one?
I think so.
Okay. Anybody want to help her out on this?
This is America's favorite rapper, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
correct.
I was going to just guess that out of nowhere, but I don't remember seeing his face.
Yep.
That's so
He's
funny.
all like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like his line.
Dang. Yeah, I'm going to have to rewatch the show. Apparently, I just consumed it too quickly. I was just like, more, next, that I wasn't really like paying attention.
Yeah, but and the man being shot to death in New Jersey is of course Alexander Hamilton.
Dang.
All right, Dave, your question here. In one of the most obvious references to The Godfather in the entire series, what is Tony holding when Uncle Junior's hitmen attempt to assassinate him in the first season?
Oh, I don't remember this, but given the question, I guess I would guess an orange.
Can you be a little bit more specific?
A clementine.
Incorrect. You're close with orange. It is a bottle of orange juice. When the first shot goes at when the first shot goes at him, it shatters the orange the glass bottle.
That it does. You're right.
All right, so Mike, here's your question for this round. In the second episode of season 1, 46th long, Silvio cheers up Tony in a scene by making a reference to The Godfather Part 3. Silvio recites Michael Corleone's famous line, "Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in," at the start and end of the scene. What is unique about that scene and this episode? It is the only time the show makes use of a common introduction of an episode.
I do know this one. It's the only time that they do a scene before the intro.
That is correct. It's and the technical term for that is
Cold
a cold
open.
open. So, yep. All right, Jen, and to round out the three Godfather questions here. In season 1, Brendan Filone is shot, quote, Mo Green style. Where exactly on his body is Brendan shot, mimicking the casino owner's murder in The Godfather?
I know he was shot in the bathtub. I guess between the eyes will be my guess.
I will be generous and give it to you. Mo Green is shot in the eye.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take the pity points.
Yeah. All right. Next one is for Dave. In the first season episode, The Legend of Tennessee Multisanti, Christopher shoots the bakery clerk in the foot, similar to the first time what Goodfellas character is shot in that movie. That character in Goodfellas is also played by Michael Imperioli.
I think his name in Goodfellas, give me a sec. I think his name in Goodfellas is Spider.
Spider is correct.
Nice poll.
The flavor text on that is just that in the Talking Sopranos podcast that Michael Imperioli and Steven Shrippa host, Michael Imperioli talked about when Spider gets shot in Goodfellas, he cut his hand on glass. But then when they took him to the ER, because he was bleeding really bad from his hand, the ER started treating him as a gunshot wound victim because he had all the fake gunshot and then like the fake markings on his body from being quote unquote shot in the scene, ignoring that he was actually bleeding really bad from his hand.
What is the kid says, "Hey, you shot me in the foot," and then Christopher says, "Hey, it happens," or something like that.
It happened. Yeah. Hey, it happens. Yeah. Okay. So this is for, so the next question is going to be for Mike. At the end of this episode, Christopher finds out that his name is printed in the New York Star Ledger in an article about the New Jersey Mafia. This makes him very happy, and he takes all the copies out of a newspaper box. What song by Cake is playing at the end? Is playing as the episode ends? This song is named for a famous New Jersey singer, and two of the singer's children had cameos in The Sopranos.
Is the title of the song Frank Sinatra?
The title of the song is Frank Sinatra. Oh. A really, really good song by Cake, but
they don't have any bad songs.
Yeah, but a very intentional one to include in. David Chase was very intentional about all his music, and when he was structuring when he was structuring the episodes. All right, finally, for Jenn, in this episode, the FBI is handing out indictments to members of the family. What FBI agent makes his first appearance by going to the Soprano household to serve a warrant?
I think that's Agent Harris.
That is correct. Agent Harris makes his first appearance in this episode.
I love that character.
Yeah, he's great.
Okay. Next question up here is for Dave. Tony spends most of his time at Satriali's and the Bada Bing, but there are a lot of other fictional companies featured prominently in the show. Name for a volcano in Italy. What is the name of Artie Bucco's restaurant?
This restaurant shares a distinction with my home, having suffered major fire damage. This is Vesuvio.
That is correct, Vesuvio. All right, Mike, your question. Season 2 pulls back the curtain on different ways the mob earns money while trying to stay current with the times. What is the name of the fictional company being traded in a brokerage firm headed by Christopher in a pump and dump scheme? The company name was poking fun at the names of companies during the dot-com boom of the late 1990s and early 2000s.
God, I want to say, and like it might be one of those things where I'm just like off by a letter, but it's like Limbistics.
That is incorrect. You have the second part correct. The company's name is Webistics.
Oh my God!
You had Fred Durst on the mind.
All right, Jenn. What retirement community plays a large role in the show? Tony sends his mother there, as do some of his captains in season 1, and Paulie sends his mother there in later seasons of the show. It is definitely not a nursing home.
Man, I was thinking of like things to look up in anticipation of the show. I'm like, I bet you they'll ask these things. And that was one of the things I meant to look up, but I totally didn't. I'm just going to say greener pastures. I don't know what it is.
Close, you're close, but that is incorrect. It is Green Grove.
Ah!
And the reason is because Tony multiple times screams at his mom, "It is not a nursing home," when she's like talking about like, oh, people send their parents there to die and all this stuff. So yeah, it's but yeah, Green Grove is definitely a big part of the show.
So that brings us to our final question, Phil. So just wanted to say thank you for writing these questions. They're really great. Just to get that in there now. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Neil. And so with the last 3 questions here, we're going to start out with Dave. In season 1, Tony dreams that the ducks that he has been caring for fly away with his what?
A sense of family stability.
That is incorrect. Does anybody want to help him out?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, he dreams that the ducks fly away with his penis.
We've all had that dream, right, guys?
Yeah.
Now,
Every
I don't know how
day of
you
my
define family stability, but
Oh,
Might hurt his family planning.
All right. For Mike, your question. After being shot by Uncle Junior in the season 6 premiere, Tony is in a coma for 2 episodes. While in the coma, he has a near-death experience and wakes up in Costa Mesa with a wallet, briefcase, and identity of what person?
Kevin Finnerty.
Kevin Finnerty is correct.
I'm actually very close to Costa Mesa. So when I saw that
Oh,
episode,
wow.
I was like, how random they picked Costa Mesa.
I thought you were about to say you're close to Kevin Finnerty.
I
Oh,
thought so
yeah.
too. Yeah, that's
He's my
Jen's alter
cousin.
ego. Yeah.
Yeah.
A fun fact about Kevin Finnerty is Tony Soprano. James Gandolfini uses his natural voice in the pilot episode, and then it has a new voice for Tony Soprano for all the episodes except for when he's Kevin Finnerty. He's back to using his natural voice. Which, if you do like, and of course I'm similar to Mike. I've rewatched it 1,000 times, but if you go back and just like watch the pilot and watch the Kevin Finnerty episodes, look like it's the same exact. It's really weird. It's the same exact voice.
Maybe the man in the pilot is Kevin Finnerty.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe
I
they
agree.
just taped the or maybe they made the pilot and waited like another year and a half to.
Yeah,
film
right.
the
Yeah,
rest of the
yeah, that's
show.
right. Yeah.
Are we gonna end this podcast like the ending of The Sopranos?
Actually, we could actually. So once we do the score, maybe it just ends. There's no ending.
Don't stop.
Yeah. How much do you have to pay to play that song?
Probably
More than we make.
more than we make in every year. Yeah.
All right. So last question here to Jen.
Okay.
During Tony's dream in season 5's The Test Dream, Tony begins to lose his what? This symbolizes in real life. This symbolizes a traumatic event or losing control, both of which are true for Tony in this episode and this season.
Season 5. Maybe that's the long one. The long, weird dream. He loses his what? I know he goes to look for his gun and says he doesn't have one. I'll just say gun because I can't think of anything else he necessarily loses.
That's incorrect. Dave or Mike, do you remember what he's losing? And that's a symbol of.
Dave, you want to see it? Say it together.
I don't know if I know
Oh,
it. Is it his teeth?
It's teeth. Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry.
Oh.
He loses his teeth throughout that dream. He's losing his teeth. And
So is that not the long dream then? Is that another like mini dream?
No,
it's in
that's the
test
long dream.
Oh, weird.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's in that long dream, and but yeah, according to just like the reason they use that is that is a very common, again, maybe not among the 4 of us here on this episode,
I've
but that's
definitely
a very
had that
common
dream.
of a dream where you start losing your teeth, as if it's like a dream of dread and losing control.
Eesh.
And as like that, falling, those are like some very common ones that almost every person reports having at some point in their lives. Yeah.
Yep. That's all she wrote. It looks like all the scores have been tabulated after this great game, and it looks like it's going to be very close. It's going to be Jen with 9 points, Dave with 10, and Mike with that commanding swing round up to 16. So Mike is the winner of this year's Gabagool trophy. So congratulations.
You guys.
Congrats.
I didn't know I was gonna get a Gabagool trophy. That's so great.
It'll be in the mail. We got to figure it out still, but. But no, thank you everyone for being here. Everyone listening who's a fan of The Sopranos or maybe just watch it. But let's go around the clock. If there's anyone you want to shout out or anything you want to say before we let you go today, let's do that. So let's start with Dave. Anything you'd like to say before we let you go?
I just want to shout out Phil for writing a really fun quiz about something I hadn't thought about in a while, and had a real good time trying to answer these questions and mostly failing.
Well, Dave, I appreciate you too filling in for us as well. I know we were talking about it. Thanks for coming in the 11th hour and being a savior for us.
My absolute pleasure.
Mike, how about you? Any shout outs? Anything you'd like to say before we let you go?
I have a band called Stems on Blondie, which is literally a reference from The Sopranos. So that's pretty cool. Check us out if you want. Other than that, just thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm having a good time. Had a great time.
Thanks so much for letting us be your first trivia podcast. So
thanks.
We appreciate it. And Jen, how about you? Any last words?
Yeah, I have a couple shout outs. I want to shout out to Vincent. And then my little cousin has a playing game, what am I trying to say? A shop in Glendale, Arizona called Wildcard Games. They specialize in role-playing games of all kinds, Dungeon Crawl Classic, Shadow, Dark, and Vampire. You can find them on Start Playing under Simple Fisherman. So check them out if you like tabletop games or any sort of games. And yeah, I mean, I read all Dr. Melfi's books and listened to Massive Genius several times, thinking that would help me during this.
I was hoping there was going to be a Massive Genius question.
But if I only just guessed Lin-Manuel Miranda, I could have tied. But sorely, I'm last, even though I'll take it. I just saw it.
Last in the game, first in our hearts, though. Thank you.
I also have one shout out, Neil. I have to thank Andrea DiMatteo for this number that I'm wearing today. So thank you to her for.
You're doing it well. There's some FBI agents across the hall that are staring at you with binoculars. And then Phil, any final words before we let you go?
Watch The Sopranos and watch it a lot. Skip the mini scenes in Newark and watch Wise Guy, the two-part documentary about David Chase.
Read the Sopranos sessions too.
Yes, The Sopranos sessions is great. It's a brilliant book. Yeah.
Great recommendations from everyone. Thank you so much for everyone for joining us. Just a quick shout out to Airwave Media, our network. If you'd like to check out some of their cool shows, you can check out American Carnage, Monster Talk, and the 10 News. So definitely check those out at airwavemedia.com. But yeah, for everyone here, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks, Phil, for writing the game. Thank you to Mike, to Phil, to Dave, to Jen, to Jeff, and Kenny wasn't here, Maddie wasn't here. Thanks to them. And hey, Jeff, what is that?